And how are we doing, everybody? Good Sunday evening to you, wherever it is that you are watching us, whether that is YouTube, whether that is Twitter, or whether that is Instagram Live. Welcome! All right, we got a lot to get to, including recapping my epic fail from Friday night's Ask DA Live. Wait till we get into that. But as always, send the comments. We love you. And if you're a member of the Jedi Council, that means you have free reign on your unique custom emojis. I want to see those in the chats. We love them. We love the Rosie the Cats, the Stun to a Newses, the Super DA. We love making tacos and Morty D'Souza. Flood the comments with them because that's one of the real special gifts about being a member, that you get to flood the zone with ridiculous inside jokes. Join up above me with that button that says JOIN, or below me you'll see the unique link for the custom, or I should say for the join membership, and throw that in your own browser and you should be good to go there for less than the cost of a chicken sandwich. You too can be part of the Jedis. Okay, let's get things going tonight. Jack, start me up with the Furious Five. Everybody's talking about Shedeur Sanders. We haven't been able to stop talking about Shedeur Sanders since draft season, and we know the story of him sliding all the way to the fifth round, being just another add-on QB in Cleveland, and because of a rash of injuries, Shedeur gets the start in his first preseason game. And lo and behold, look great. He looked great, led a couple of touchdown drives, threw a couple of touchdown passes, looked mobile, looked accurate, looked confident, looked in command. What can you say except passing marks for Shedeur Sanders in that first start? And if you are a Browns fan and you were once again relegated to the dustbin of NFL quarterback land, my God, we still don't have a solution. My God, we'll never have a solution. And you woke up and watched a preseason game and a young man as a rookie look much better than you would have thought. You might be like, oh. I am cautiously optimistic. And I advise you and the media and the fans and the football world at large to remain heightened, cautiously optimistic. And I say this not because I'm a hater. I say this not because I want to douse Browns fans who deserve something good in their lives with ice water. I say this because I have watched preseason football in some capacity for 35 years, maybe closer to 40 now. And I have seen a lot of guys flash in the preseason and get everybody's hopes ginned up and then crash in the regular season. And there are something called August heroes. And I, again, not because I'm a hater, but in fact, the opposite, because I'm protective of young QBs. I have always said I would much rather be conservative with my rookie quarterbacks rather than throw them to the wolves to see if they can sink or swim. I much rather protect them and groom them and grow them so that when they are ready, they are truly ready and we get to see. I am not of the opinion you just chuck guys out there and if they got it, they're going to get it. I don't believe that. And in this case, I said this on the air last week. I didn't love this idea because I didn't believe that if he was crap, that suddenly it was some grand declaration that he couldn't get it done, okay? I have to say the opposite as well. If he's great, we should not sit here and go, oh, well, the solution's right there. He's going to be great. He's going to be a Pro Bowler, and the Browns got to steal. Whatever we were going to see in that time in preseason game number 1 should not, great or awful should not inform the overall long-term expectations for Shedeur Sanders. Now, look, you'd much rather him look like that than look awful. You'd much rather him look in command. And what I liked most, because a lot of rookie quarterbacks go out there and they see the bullets flying for the first time, they finally get the speed, and they're going, whoa, 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 whoa. Didn't look like it was moving too fast for Shedeur. Also, I liked it. It looked like he had command of the offense in a rhythm, which is what you're looking for from a young QB at all times, because so many get off rhythm. But in the preseason, defenses are super vanilla. In the preseason, specifically the first preseason game, there is no film on Shedeur Sanders. So what does this look like if he does, let's just say he starts week 5 or week 8 or week 10? What does it look like when defenses are in midseason form? Now you're disguising blitzes. Now you're throwing the kitchen sink at a young QB. Now things are really moving fast, and you've got guys that might be injured to the offensive line, yada, yada, yada. Things look a lot different. And I don't want to look at what he did in preseason game number 1, and then if he fails horribly and looks awful in October or November or December, suddenly go, oh, my God. Oh, come on. He's a bum. He's a bust. No. There are things I did not like about Shedeur coming into this draft. Obviously, the draft process was a problem. His lack of seriousness, intent during that process was a problem. I think there's an issue football-wise with the type of offense he played at Colorado, and then what you have to then learn in the NFL, which is a much different style of offense and a much more complex style of offense, etc. Shedeur, just in terms of big moments, big games, didn't play a lot of them. You could argue almost none of them, because even though Colorado had attention, the foes they faced, the stakes with which they were faced were not that big a deal. It was not on the road at LSU at night. It was not a college football playoff game. It wasn't even a Big 12 title game. So I do think you got to slow the roll on Shedeur, but definitely a plus what we saw in the debut. Most of all, you just want to see a guy look comfortable, and he did. That's great. But cautiously optimistic after a sensational debut, let's face it. All right, number 2 on the Furious 5. More football here. In L.A., Rashawn Slater is gone for the season. And this was going to be Justin Herbert's left tackle. He had just signed a deal to make him the highest paid offensive lineman left tackle in the NFL weeks before he goes down with a season-ending injury. I like how the bolts are built. I have always liked that Jim Harbaugh walked in and said, I've got a franchise QB, but I don't want to make him have to win games for us, which is exactly what happened to the previous 2 coaches. It was give Justin Herbert the football and pray that he's going to bail you out of harm's way. What Harbaugh wanted to do was smash mouth, run the football, play defense, build the offensive line, which is what he has done everywhere he's been. San Francisco, obviously, very good. Michigan, they won a national championship. That's how those teams were built. He wants to do that with the Chargers. You know, Slater was a massive part of that. He's going to move Alt, last year's number 1 overall first-round pick, into that left tackle slot and move some things around to the offensive line. I don't love it. Alt is, if you're going to have to do it, you do it with a guy that's got that type of ability, that type of size. But this is a massive, massive, massive injury. And because it's an offensive lineman, most people, it will not register how severe this is. I thought the Chargers came into this season with a real possibility of doing damage in the playoffs. I didn't think they could go to a Super Bowl, but I did think they could be a problem in year number 2 under Harbaugh and understanding and developing what their style is. They got a taste of the postseason last year. They have an identity. But losing Slater for the year is a massive, absolutely massive loss. I cannot underscore this enough. For who they are, the blind side of Justin Herbert's, pocket, and how great Slater is, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a bigger injury across the NFL this season. I'm serious. Now, of course, if there's a starting quarterback that goes down, that's bigger. But in terms of a non-quarterback injury and what the guy means to the team, that's, in terms of the preseason, that will likely be the most important injury of the NFL preseason. That's how big that was. To college football, I have never liked Jimbo Fisher, okay? He's got a national championship at Florida State. Can't take that away from him. But I have always felt that Jimbo was more talk than he was walk. And when he got the job at Texas A&M, well, we finally were going to get to see whether he really could walk. That's SEC football now, boys. That ain't running through the ACC, my friend. This isn't beating Wake Forest, NC State en route to an ACC championship at a college football playoff. Now, obviously, you got to beat somebody else after that, but it's a different beast week in, week out when you are dealing with the SEC. And what we saw was one good season in College Station, which happened to be the COVID year, when everything imploded across the entire universe, surely in college football as well. So empty stadiums, no real home field advantage, a crazy schedule, half a season. It's a joke. Forget bubble championships being lesser than. That football season was really a joke. College football specifically. Well, Jimbo Fisher did a podcast the other day and said he is very interested in returning to college football. He's going to work for the ACC network. He says he still loves it. And then he went on to list all of his accomplishments with the Trials to Triumph podcast. Quote, I've won 72% of my games. I won 80% of my playoff games. I won a national championship as a head coach and an assistant. Blah, 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 blah. And then went on to say why things didn't end well at Texas A&M. And he had to throw in there, but we also had the highest ranked team they ever had there, talking about the COVID year. Of course, had to add that one in. But then a guy who is, I think, employed to coach young men to not make excuses does shockingly exactly that. Quote, our quarterbacks got hurt. We played with first team, third team. It was hard to get play calling in and guys around. Didn't pan out like we needed it to, but I still love it, end of quote. Jimbo, you were paid a king's ransom at Texas A&M with elite facilities and elite talent coming through those doors. You had 100,000 people in the stadium, in the heart of Texas, where there is high school talent falling off of trees. And how come year after year, aside from the ridiculous half-cooked COVID year, was it so underwhelming? Year after year, season after season, game after game. Jimbo will tell you, well, quarterbacks got hurt. Well, we had to play with second and third string guys. Well, it was hard to get play calling in. Well, changing coordinators, changing the offense. What a loser. Dude, you were paid $100 million to coach at Texas A&M. Not Kent State, not Central Michigan, not FAU. You got Texas A&M and $100 million. And you were so bad, they cut you a check for 80 of it to go away. And you have the gall to blame it on injuries? On injuries? What a pathetic head coach. Can't make excuses. Can't make excuses, boys. You can't make excuses, boys. Can't make excuses, boys. But watch me make excuses. What a loser. What a loser. You are one of the highest paid people in your profession, and you've got a kingdom of resources at your disposal. And you want to sit here and tell us you couldn't get it done because guys got hurt. Got something for you. A lot of guys get hurt across the nation, and better head coaches deal with them. Nick Saban dealt with a lot of injuries. A lot of them. Won a lot more games than you did. A lot more games. Harbaugh, injuries. Much better head coach in college football. Let's go to the list of all of the coaches that are better than Jimbo Fisher, despite dealing with injuries. What an unforgivable excuse maker. Never liked Jimbo, and that's one of the reasons why. Ain't never his fault. Pathetic. And finally, with the Furious Five, we have to just talk about the flow of Johnny Damon. Old Timers Day was back in the Bronx. And look at this man. Look at this man. I don't know about you, but I had multiple people over the weekend sending me this photo going, can you believe what Johnny Damon looks like? Why don't we throw up there the full screen? Because we need to experience this in full. Johnny Damon wearing a way too tight Yankees jersey with unbelievable rock metal hair and that hat sitting on top of a relatively round Johnny Damon face makes him look like he was in a Johnny Damon look-alike contest. Is that Johnny Damon, or is that just enough of a resemblance to Johnny Damon to make you say, hey, is that Johnny Damon? Wow. I saw that, did a double take. Then I said, triple take. Then I said, is that AI? And then I said, oh my God, that really is Johnny Damon. That's a man that doesn't care anymore. And it's glorious. That's a man that has taken caring, stuffed it deep into some empty bottle, sealed that bottle up, walked over to the ocean, and threw it as far as he could possibly throw. And the care, that jar of care, that glass bottle of care is out to sea, never to come back. Look at those locks. Look at that tummy. Look at that smile. Johnny Damon, long hair, don't care. All right. If you are a Jedi Council member, if you're a member of the channel, then you get access to an exclusive once a month Ask DA Anything. Episode number 1 was amazing. I had a couple of bourbons while we were doing it. Got nice and saucy. We went for an hour and 40 minutes. We talked about everything. I mean, everything. Radio, philosophy, life, the show, sports. It was awesome. Episode 2 happened on Friday night. And Aiden is on vacation for a second weekend. He's back tomorrow, so he's going to take back over this. Jack has done a wonderful job. The diaper DA-lien, Jack Knight, who you'll see on the show in just a few minutes, ran last week's Watch D.A. live. He's running it again tonight, doing a fantastic job. But on Friday, I said, don't worry, guys. I got it. All I got to do is hit a button that we go live, and I'm drinking a beer, and we're sitting down, and I'm fielding questions. But Friday night was going to be special because I was going to tell the whole story about how I left Kansas City and 610 Sports Radio there. I'd spent 4.5 years there. I loved every minute of my time, but it became a very tumultuous, bizarre end. And it spoke to a lot of, I think, problems in the business. So I was asked about it in episode number 1, Q&DA. I said, I'll get to it in episode 2. I led off with this. And I did 30 minutes of this story. I mean, and it had everything. It was coming out from my soul. Because I'm just kind of in the zone, telling the story, and I get done with it, and I'm like, okay, now time to take some questions. And I look down in the live chat, and I see people saying, DA, we can't hear you. I want to play for you a clip, okay? This is the moment that I realized, holy bleep, my microphone's off. Jack, why don't we run this? No way. Oh my God! Oh my God! I just did a half hour on Kansas City and it didn't go out over the air. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Aiden is, I'm running this myself tonight. Unbelievable. Wow. Okay. Well, for those that are still here, half hour after watching me talk, thanks. Thank you so much. There's a lot to talk about here. I'm going to fly through the early part of this and just get to your questions, okay? Numero uno, thank you. It's still painful even to watch that. I had to turn away. You have to understand that in my career, so much of what I do is it's about having to arrive on time, microphone on, and then perform. And I have a constant anxiety of not being there when the microphone is on. So I have all these anxiety dreams. I constantly, it's in the back of my head. What time's the show? Are we on time? Will I hit traffic before I get to the studio? Do we have everything working? It's just a constant anxiety in my life. And one of the things is that I have an anxiety dream about is not only being on time, but when I am on, the microphone won't work. They can't hear me. Something. So the fact that this happened in real life, and it was solely on me, I didn't have my right microphone channel clicked when we were going live. I had the wrong microphone channel clicked. It was like pain, absolute pain. So thanks for sticking with me. The few that did through the half hour, the few that did, we did another 40 minutes on the back end. If you're a member, if you join, you can still go back and watch it. If you're not a member right now, you can join tonight and go back and watch it. I edited out the half hour, so you don't have to sit through that. You just zip right ahead to when the microphone is on. But you will see that reaction, and it was torture. So I have to now punt the KC story to next month. September the 9th, 9/9 is when we will do the next one, and I'll have to do it then. I'm also looking at the live chat and the emojis, and my God, I love this. Randy just used all of them. And when I see Fisher the Clown alongside Morty D'Souza and Rosie the Cat and Cinnamon Berry and Making Tacos and Bears with Tails and Stunt 2 News, it just makes me so happy. It really does. It just makes me so happy. I love it. I love it so much. And I wore this t-shirt again because this is available right now on the team store. That's right. WatchDAstore.com. Old school zap mothership with the lightning bolts. So right now it's available on the team store in hoodie form as well. Badass, as hoodie weather is just around the corner. Football season just around the corner. All the t-shirts, all the designs that we have, all available in hoodies. So the Support Oakland says Forever Oakland with my face on it. The Brady Bunch one with all the guys from CBS Sports Radio, the whole gang from Sirius as well, Katie Linendahl and Aiden. That's also available in hoodie form. Tank top, if you're in the South and it's going to stay hot for a long time, that's all available. Go to WatchDAstore.com right now to pick up all your DA merch. Tonight is just a good night. Tonight's going to be a good night. Tonight's going to be a good night. And why? It's because I actually have a cocktail in hand. We'll get to that coming up here shortly. But also, before the show, I tweeted out, let's hear from some of you guys. If you got some Exhale cocktails, I want to see them. It's the summer, winding down the summer. I know you guys are out on the porch, out doing things. You got yourself a drink, a beverage. So I said, send them to me. Flooded. My timeline was flooded today with Exhale cocktails. And so Jack's going to take us through it. We'll start off with mine. This is over the weekend, not today. I went out to the waterfront in Poughkeepsie, New York. Now, Poughkeepsie is the home of Marist College, home of Rick Smits, and beautiful Hudson River waterfront. So I went down there, beautiful day on Friday after work, and I got myself a nice little cocktail. That's like a cucumber lime cocktail. It's got some elderflower liqueur in it, but I think it was cucumber vodka. Delicious. That's the lime on top. That's the waterfront. I had such a good day. There's something called Walkway Over the Hudson. You can see it in the distance. You can walk across the entire Hudson River up there on a walking bridge. It used to be a railroad bridge in the 70s. It was about to burn down. They saved it. They paved it, and it is awesome. It's such a cool day hike or whatever, day walk. So that's what I was doing on Friday, and that was my Exhale cocktail. I wanted to also run Kristen in Buffalo because Kristen sent me this last week, and Kristen is pregnant with a true diaper DA-lien, and we didn't get it up last week, so I wanted to play this week. Tonight's forecast, Watch D.A live. She was watching with us last week. A non-alcoholic Exhale cocktail and sunset views courtesy of Ocean City, Maryland. Last vacation before baby in Buffalo's arrival. So that was awesome. Kristen in Buffalo, Ocean City, Maryland. That looks like a delicious cocktail. And I love the water views. So then today, let's just run through some of these ones that we got over the course of today, Jack. You can just start hitting these and I'll walk through them. Okay, so this is Parker. He's got something called a Jess. It's an IPA, and that looks very delicious. Amherst Brewing. Gotta love it. So that's very nice. You had Cy from the Delaware beaches. Look at that water view on the porch, on the deck. Hey, he's in Delaware. Love that. That's a nice little cocktail there. Pete sent me his Mike's Hard Lemonade. Okay, and that's a tall boy as well. That'll do you nice. Mob Gaming 4. K. Howarth McFarland had double IPAs and two of them. Look at the cans here. Double Thunder Funk and the Magic Dragon double IPAs. Those will get you twisted. A single IPA does you pretty good. The double IPA, that puts me sideways. Chris in Baltimore, who came up to Bob's Bar and then also the Bab Bash, enjoying a creamsicle crush, which sounds delicious, from the American Legion in Ocean City, Maryland. So that's very cool. Again, another Ocean City, Maryland. John Paul sent me his neutral, waiting by the fire for Babs to call me to remind him where he parked at JFK. Bolt parking lot, Babs. Bolt. Babs is out there in Vegas. A very funny turn of events that he went back out there for indoor football. But that's a nice fire that John Paul's got going on. I didn't realize John Paul is an outdoorsman. It's a good-looking fire. Nice, warm, charred embers growing. And he's got his cocktail. How about Darren in Winnipeg? That looks like a beautiful August day in Winnipeg. And he's got the Last Dive Bar glass. You got to love that. And Angry Fish Pilsner in it. Awesome. Love a Pilsner. That's a very cool can. I've never had Angry Fish. That looks like something right up my alley. And in the Last Dive Bar cocktail glass, which is awesome. We've got cocktail glasses on our site, watchdastore.com. You got it right here. That's what I'm drinking out of. But also, Last Dive Bar, you can pick up your own Oakland Coliseum Last Dive Bar gear as well at the site, and they're married, those two sites. Last Dive Bar is basically hosting the watchdastore.com. So you can just kind of click around, find both. So you can do stuff in Last Dive Bar. You can do stuff for us at Watch D.A. So all the store stuff is there, and Last Dive Bar is awesome. If you ever want any gear there, we have a constant discount of 15% off if you use the code MOTHERSHIP. I just talked to Brian over the week and caught up with him, and he's just an amazing dude. He's always been very supportive. All of them at Last Dive Bar have been incredibly supportive. Brian, Paul, and the gang. Brian's pops passed away recently, so our heart goes out to Brian. He was close with his dad, and I know that's been weighing on him, and he's had a tough summer. because of it. So, Bri, we're all thinking about you, man. We love you very much. Your brother, and I wish you the best. I know your dad's upstairs smiling at the incredible the messaging, the hope that you gave and the rallying energy you gave A's fans in the city of Oakland, and also the hell that you gave John Fisher. He's proud of you, buddy. He's proud of you. So that was really cool. So the Exhale cocktails, that was great. And we'll keep doing those, especially football season right around the corner. We're going to do the Exhale cocktails. So on Sundays, send me your cocktails, either Instagram or Twitter. It's always at Damon Amendo, and on all social media platforms, and we'll get them up there, and we'll get you guys a little pop on the show with the photos. That was very cool. All of those made me feel very thirsty, and I think after the show, I will imbibe. Even though this weekend I have imbibed quite a bit. If you were following me on Instagram, you saw that I put up some of the views of the Hudson from Friday. Then yesterday, a buddy of mine, my best friend Jonah, lives in Stamford, Connecticut, near the water. And so we took one of these like sunset cruises with him and his wife. The three of us went out. My wife, the Bourbon Belle, and AJ were at the in-laws this weekend. So this was a bachelor DA weekend, and I made the most of it. Any dad will tell you, especially when you have young children, because you're kind of always on call. You're on call with everything that happens all the time. You can't really ever relax. That when you don't have that responsibility, the top gets popped off. And Daddy Dame, Daddy DA had himself a lot of Labatt Blue Light yesterday. At the pool, on the boat, at dinner, on the deck. It was a good day. It's a really good day. But I haven't touched a beer yet today. I think after the show, after all these photos, the Exhale cocktails, I'll go back into the well for dinner. One, right? Come on. What am I, a loser? Okay. Jack is a diaper DA-lien of the highest order. He's 18 years old. This young man is just graduating high school. He's attending Syracuse in the fall. He reached out to me at the beginning of the summer, and he said, hey, I'm looking to get some experience under my belt. I don't want to get to campus and be behind. This is a guy that's just a workhorse. He said, do you got anything that maybe I can help you out with? I said, I do. Watch D.A. Live, the YouTube channel. Let's get your feet wet. So he's running the show tonight. He ran the show last week. He's done an awesome job in Aiden's place. Jack also has takes. And Jack has delivered night school now for a couple of weeks here to you guys. Fantasy football drafts are here, okay? And so tonight, we've got Jack's night school bringing us fantasy football advice. He's going to bring you 3 sleepers and a defense that you need in your life when you start your fantasy football draft. Jack, how we doing, buddy?
We're doing awesome. Myself and 387 strong tonight. So great crowd.
And that's only the YouTube numbers. We have numbers coming in on Instagram Live, numbers coming in on Twitter as well. So we've had a great summer. The audience builds every single week. We love it. Love everybody coming in from all these different places. And you're right, we got a buzz in the chat tonight. So you got advice for fantasy football owners. How many leagues are you in?
I try to keep it around 3 or 4, but the friend group usually bubbles to 6.
Oh, 6. You're in 6 leagues. Okay. So have you done drafts for any of the 6 yet?
One. We do early draft, people college, everything like that.
Okay. Got it. So give us your 3 sleepers, okay? 3 sleepers that people need to keep an eye out for their fantasy football draft.
First one has gotten a lot of traction over the weekend since 100-yard kickoff return. Travion Henderson with the Patriots. The last time Mike Vrabel coached a running back of that caliber, it was Derrick Henry. I'm sure you've heard that name before. Henderson, he's going to be the number 1 back. Assume good O-line, if they stay healthy, will be a monster. Henderson, obviously, with Ohio State last year, took him to the chip.
Okay. And young quarterback Drake May, they're going to want to protect him. not put him in danger. They got to run the football. Vrabel, run the football type of guy. I like that one. Trayvon Henderson's going to get a lot of touches. Who's your second sleeper?
Number two, this guy kind of slid under the radar in the actual NFL draft. Justin Fields, he's going to be throwing a lot to Mason Taylor. When he's rolling out for runs, dump it off to Taylor from LSU, able to make a play, strong hands. He's going about 7th or 8th round. Could be the potential for a top 10 tight end.
Okay, I like this. Justin Fields, his connection at tight end, and using that as a sleeper. That's a good one. I like that a lot. And your third?
This name obviously been a big name in fantasy drafts before, but with the state of the Dallas Cowboys right now, he's been pretty slept on. Dak Prescott's still a baller. CeeDee Lamb's there. George Pickens is there. And they're going to be down in a lot of games this year. They're going to be pushing the ball down the field, trying to score points, trying to put more points up to keep up. And it's going to result in passing yards and touchdowns for Prescott.
Okay, very nice. And now you have a defense for all of our fantasy football owners to lock in on?
So around the 12th best defense right now, depending on who you ask. The Seattle Seahawks in a weaker, should I say, NFC West. Finally, the NFC West getting weaker. No Cooper Kupp, no Deebo Samuel. Stafford has injury concerns. Purdy's kind of evened out into wherever he's going to be this year. Seattle healthy again. Leonard Williams, their star pass rusher, has a new contract. And I think Seattle, under defensive-minded coach Mike McDonald, will be top 5 this year.
Okay, very nice. Jack's Night School. Good job, buddy. Appreciate you. Very well done. This young man's got a big future, and sounds like you guys are getting a little bit of an echo from him. I'm seeing that in the chat. Didn't sound so bad in my earphones, so not sure if that hit everybody, but Jack's doing a great job. And we also got a great job from Jake Asman. Now, Jake does a Big Jets podcast. He does a Big Jets show on YouTube. In fact, I actually called him a few weeks ago to kind of get some advice on the whole membership thing. And what Jake just did, I said, Jake, what Jake just did was he gifted a membership to a listener, and that went to Brian. So awesome job by Jake. You can gift memberships when we go live, which is pretty cool. The thing is, if you want to receive that, got to make sure you go to your settings, and it says receive memberships, free gifts, I believe, receive gifts. So you have to make sure, but that's a great job by Jake. He gifted a membership in our live chat. It went to Bri. I'm sure Bri appreciates it. You got to love that, and love spreading the wealth. And I'm glad that Jake did that, because when football season begins in a couple of weeks, obviously this show then becomes instantaneous reaction to the day of football at 7:30 Eastern time. And we kick off at 7:30, and then we go until kickoff of the Sunday Night Football game. Starting that week, I will begin gifting memberships in the live chat at Watch D.A. Live. So we're going to go supersize balls to the wall for football, and beginning that weekend, the Sunday of week 1 of the NFL season, Sunday nights, Watch D.A. Live, I'll start gifting memberships out there so we build the family of the Jedis. You guys will have another opportunity to see exclusive member-only content. I do a Q&A deep dive called the Raw Feed every week for you there, that's members only, and the live chat, the Q&A, Ask Me Anything once a month. That obviously, then you have the access to all the custom emojis, you get your badges, all that good stuff coming to you, plus a discount at the team store at watchdastore.com. So that's very cool. Love that. All right. Also, I want to get to you guys on the comments, all right? Because I see a lot of good stuff coming in. Number one, I just can't get over all of the uses of the emojis. I love seeing those in the chat. It just makes me chuckle all the time, seeing like ridiculous emojis and John Fisher the clown and 1,000 rows of the cats. It's amazing. But Kristen in Buffalo says it was torture being near you Baltimore DA-lien's territory and not being able to meet up or enjoy a true crush. Yeah, it's cool. We've got a lot of people in Baltimore. A lot of listeners in that general area that came up for Bob's Bar a couple of times. And then Ocean City, Maryland, obviously not far away. So I always encourage you to, if you're going to be in the area, reach out to other DA-liens and share a drink, share a laugh, try to connect. Too bad you guys couldn't get together, but definitely there should be future meetups coming because, as we found out at Bob's Bar, we're just a group of eccentric people that can sit around and talk to one another very easily, not as easily as we can talk to other people. This crazy eccentric family knows each other really well. The Babs trip out to Las Vegas is too funny. See, when I put the comments up through StreamYard, you won't get the actual emoji, unfortunately. You just get the text of the emoji. But Babs drinking $125 shots of smooth tequila in Las Vegas this weekend. I can't wait to get the stories. If you heard the show on Friday, when I learned in real time that Babs was going to be going out to Las Vegas for the second time in 3 weeks, I nearly lost my brain. It nearly poured out of my skull. So I can't wait to hear how this thing went down. I've never heard of a father of 3 be able to just walk out the door because on a Wednesday he told his wife, on Friday I'm going back to Las Vegas. And her just going, okay. I mean, she must really like when he's not around because he's just like, peace out. I'm going back. I mean, the Bourbon Bell would be like, for what? And I would have to say, for an arena football playoff game. And she'd go, what? And I'd have to then say, yeah, and try to explain it. Babs didn't even have to get that far. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Moist Pork, we missed you on Friday night because you might have been able to get my attention as I was droning on and on and on without the microphone being on in the Ask DA Live video. But at the same time, people asking like, didn't you look at the chat? Everybody was saying, turn on your microphone. We can't hear you. But I just wasn't looking at the chat because I'm in storytelling mode, So it's one thing to be at the point where I'm taking questions and responding to questions. But at that point in time, I was not doing that. I was just like long form storytelling. And the story itself has so many plot twists. And the sin of it all is you'll see B Squared in the chat. And I swear, if I can get B Squared out to a Bob's Bar show, you guys would just fall in love with the guy. He's the funniest, coolest dude. He's so easygoing. He's been ride or die with me as a listener since Kansas City. And so like the story was for him in the chat to like reflect on, and he was going to add some, I'm sure, context to it. And like, he's like, DA, I can't hear you, dude. But he added his own comments and stories as well in the comments, which is hysterical. So I love you, bro. We'll get it done next time. I wish I would have looked, but I didn't because I'm a moron, and that's the way that it goes. Never forget how much of a moron I truly am, okay? And that should save you some future surprise when you can tell what a moron I am. Jack's background has gotten a lot of comments for the last couple of weeks. People wanted to know what those photos are. I'm going to bring Jack back on. And Jack, I'm not sure if you have like maybe something you can turn down in terms of an echo or volume, but it sounded fine on my end, so you're okay. What are the photos up on your wall behind you?
So I've got two younger brothers, both aged 14, heading in 8th grade this year. And this is my mom's office that I weekly commandeer for this spot. So she's got all the Christmas photos. There's drawings from kindergarten and pre-K in front of me. And it's wild, but it's the spot.
Good to know. Okay. So you're doing it from the mom's office.
Exactly.
And there you go. That makes a lot of sense. I've had to do shows from my mom's and my dad's office as well. The Forever Oakland show that we did last year when it was the A's final home game in Oakland. I had this whole thing set up. best laid plans. And I was so ready, and the studio was decked out in A's stuff. I had a cell flag ready to go. Like, it was right. And my internet crapped out, and I could not get it going. And I was like beyond devastated because I was so ready to go live as soon as that game was over. I tried to move upstairs from Studio DA downstairs in the basement, upstairs to the main router in the house, and that one was out as well. So after like 90 minutes, I said, I got to go over to my mom and dad's house. So I did the Forever Oakland show. It was like a 2-hour show from my parents' office. And just like Jack is saying, it's like baby photos. It's like a desk that's not really a desk. The worst chair ever. My back was killing me. The acoustics were a disaster. So I know the feeling. I know the feeling very well. At least, though, as long as your internet is good and the baby photos are up, it's a lot better than when the internet's terrible and the baby photos are up. Let's see. B squared. I will be there. Like Michael Jackson said, just look over your shoulder and I'll be there. So what I'm talking about, at some point he's going to make a voyage out here, or maybe we'll have to go out to KC. So there you go. I like this. Chris in Buffalo. That looks like a bad AI request of Johnny Damon. The Johnny Damon photo is always going to be one of the most like absurd photos because exactly right. It's not even really Johnny Damon seemingly. It's like a knockoff Johnny Damon, which how does it happen when it's actually really him? Let's see. Rob says, you also need to understand the haters who say it's just a preseason game would crucify him if he did badly. That is true. And we were talking about Shedeur Sanders. But if you heard me on Friday morning when I was talking about Shedeur getting the start, that's exactly what I said. I said, I don't have a lot of confidence in Shedeur being a great franchise QB, but if he is, there will be a pretty steep learning curve in my estimation. But because there's a steep learning curve, we should not say if he stinks in the preseason, he can't do it, because that's also not fair. He has to be given time to learn. It cannot be instantaneous. And the one thing that I always hate about modern sports is this insatiable demand for everything to be proven right now. It's just not the way sports work. It's not the way that life works. But sports is so obvious that there's growth and evolution and transition that happens all of the time with players, with coaches, with teams, with franchises, organizations, etc. You must build experience, and you then evolve through it, and your game is different. Look at Josh Allen early in his career, throwing 1 million interceptions, making a ton of terrible decisions. If you were to believe at that point in time that is the finished product because Josh Allen's just always going to make bad decisions, what you would see today is an out-of-body experience that's an alien. Josh Allen is the same human being, but he had to go through those early mistakes to become who he is today. We could not have said at that point in time, look at all the interceptions, he'll never be able to get it, and then see this today and reconcile that. So these young quarterbacks need to be allowed to fail. It has to be okay. And thus, if he was trash this weekend, it was not going to be fair to say, see, he's trash. At the same time, because he's great, we cannot put outsized expectations on him that, oh, now he has to be the starter. Oh, now the Browns definitely got the guy, and now he should start week number 1, and he's going to coast. It cannot be one or the other. It must be the understanding that there's an evolution and a growth that happens with every single player every time they take a snap, let alone a rookie quarterback. So I'm already hating the takes that I hear out there about Shedeur. I hate the I told you so's because, it's a half of preseason football. It's a couple of drives. You cannot say I told you so yet. And there are pretty well-regarded NFL people saying I told you so. Like, that's ridiculous because the flip side of that is if he was trash, nobody should have been able to say I told you so. If he threw 3 picks and 2 pick sixes, if you would have said, I told you so, that's why he should have been a 5th-round pick, that would not have been fair. I'm already hating what I'm hearing. I'm already hating. I am, as always, going to end tonight's show with a little sports zen. We oftentimes also end with a little more laugh of the day, but Aiden is usually the fire behind that, and I wanted to respect that. And when Aiden comes back, he'll take over the Little Mo laugh of the day. So that should be a lot of fun to do that. So we'll end off with your sports zen. But Psych Mamter, which is such a great deep cut name, says 08 Colt Brennan owned the preseason. Flacco and Matt Ryan had much better careers by far. Great example, Colt Brennan. Like, you don't even remember that name in football, but there are guys that have amazing preseasons and then don't end up doing anything. So I'm not going to go crazy for anybody in the preseason, but I will say that Shedeur looked very, very good. And I was glad to see it. Nice to see Delta 9 Brian drinking sugar-free Crystal Light tonight. Sounds pretty good. And then B Squared, Johnny Damon used to be man sexy. Now he looks like everyone's drunk uncle. And that, and we're going to have to go back over to that. But a little reminder, once again, on this YouTube channel, we have so much going on for football season. We have the Sunday night show, okay? We will also have Q&DA, which is my long-form conversations through all different types of people. Last week's was Jonathan Carone, who runs healthysportsparents.com, all about the chaos and dysfunction of the youth sports in America, the travel ball and all these crazy things, the anxieties of travel and states away and tournaments and multiple teams and all the costs that are associated with it, the time associated with it, the pressures associated with it. He's great. I believe he's a pastor, so he just has a natural way of speaking and being really insightful. And he's also so grounded. So I love that conversation, nearly an hour. If you are a parent in the youth sports world and you're like, this thing is crazy, I highly encourage you to watch it. That's on the YouTube channel. Plus, for members only, my raw feed series on that and why I'm passionate about that. So that's going to continue. We'll have a lot of football guests for Q&DA as the season goes and begins. This coming week, we will have the author of the self-help book that A.J. Brown read on the sidelines last year at an Eagles game. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that conversation. That'll air this week. Also, I'll be doing a weekly series on the Bills. This is an all-or-nothing type of season. This is the last season in their stadium. I wanted to kind of historically document a franchise that has so much soap opera to it, Shakespearean drama with that stadium, that I wanted to kind of capture that over the course of the season because, again, it's all or nothing. You got to get to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl these days in Buffalo or it's a failure. So that'll start this week as well. I'll do my first episode based on their preseason game against the Giants yesterday. And as always, the monthly chats are happening here. Next one's going to be September 9th. So be there 9/9 is when we'll do that one. And members will be invited to ask me anything you want. And at that point in time, I can promise you my microphone's going to work. That one, I will make sure that we are ready for. All right, so that's everything going on the channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. Tell others to subscribe as well. I can't wait for Sunday nights during football season. And make sure you're joined if you want a deeper connection and ability to enjoy the channel by becoming a member here as well. With that being said, Jack, let's throw up the Sports Zen one final time because Johnny Damon has to be the image of the week. This is something. I mean, in the same game also, the Mariano Rivera tore his Achilles. Can you believe it? Mariano, who was always in amazing shape, ends up tearing his Achilles at Old Timers Day. But that is just a head of hair. That is a big old belly. That is a very round face, and that is a wonderful smile. To me, you just look at that and you let that wash over you, and that is some Zen. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight here on the show. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Love you guys very much. Much love. Stick around tomorrow morning. I will be on SiriusXM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio, with the DA show with Babchick, going over the entire weekend of preseason football, and, of course, getting the stories from Vegas because it looks like Babs had himself a weekend. So I'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time, everybody. Thanks to Jack Knight, your executive producer tonight on Watch D.A. Live. As always, I just wanted to say great job in the comments because We had another flood of comments, and I couldn't even get to everybody, so that was very cool as well. And as always, you guys stay classy, my friends. I'm DA. Be good to one another, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.